What's up, YouTubians? Gary, VWJawbreaker. Welcome back to another day, where today we're getting back to work on the Sickxty. That is a 1960 Volkswagen Baja Frankenbeetle build that we took quite a bit of time to build. Front end is pushed forward 10 inches with a custom extension. A whole bunch of work has gone into this car over the last couple years. Just got it on the road back in March, and well, we have a problem. I know, it's really not a problem. I've known about it, but it's still an issue. We need to make a modification to this car. So the rear torsion bars, this is a swing axle transmission. So you've got your axle that connects straight to the transmission. You don't have an intermediate shaft like a IRS setup. Problem is the torsion bars are too weak, so therefore my tires kick in. Get some negative camber. So I put air shocks in the back, which did help. However, you know, we blew them out when we went on the off-road trip. It's not good. And every time you take off, the back end just really squats down. We need to change that. We need to get rid of the air shocks. They just suck. I hate air shocks, especially on the rear. So what did we do? We got new torsion bars. So I went to Appletree and they had a sale. So we picked up some latest Rage 24 millimeter torsion bars for the rear. So we'll go ahead and get this thing jacked up in the air, get it on jack stands, get the tires pulled, and we'll go ahead and start changing out the torsion bars. Now, this process is the same whether you're swing axle or IRS. Even if you want to lower your car, process is pretty much the same. If you want to raise your car, process is pretty much the same. What we're going to be doing. So let's dive into this and get to work. Now she's dirty under here. She's been off-road a couple times. But basically what we need to do, and this would be for your swing axle or your IRS, when you go to remove the bolts for the spring plate to the perch. Once that's done, take the cover off, and then there's a special tool you can use that's a lot safer than using a jack. Also remove your shocks. Then it's just pretty much pretty straightforward from there. Slide this out of the way. If you had IRS, and you had your stub axle going across, you'd actually want to remove your outer stub axle, remove the 6 bolts from right here that normally go right there. You want to remove those, get your axle out of the way to help the whole thing pivot up out of the way easier. But for swing axle, it's actually even easier than IRS because you just remove these 3 bolts. You got one there, one there, one there, remove this. The whole axle will actually move out of the way just enough. As our torsion bars are back here behind this end cap for your spring plate. So let's go ahead and get those removed. Now with all that out of the way, you just pull our spring plate or axle right back, rotate it just a tad. Now our spring plate is on the front side of the axle, not the back side of the axle. So now we'll go ahead and remove that and go ahead and put our special tool in place, keep things safe. Now this is a spring plate tool. Hooks on the body bolt right there. This comes up and attaches to your spring plate. Makes things much safer. You can buy these or you can make them. I bought it, it was on sale. And what that will do is keep everything from trying to fly apart on you. Now we just need to go ahead and remove the 4 bolts for our cap over here. All right, and there's your inner bushing there, or your outer bushing, and then you have an inner bushing in there as well. Now, right now, your spring plate is on the perch down below. So you use this, keep it from trying to flap around or anything, want to pop off and kill you, because what you need to do, we'll actually increase it just a tad. Well, can't do that one-handed. Increase it just a tad, get a little bit of pressure off, and come in there and do a light pry. Get it off of the perch and slightly unset. And we can go ahead and start letting it down easily. You guys even seeing this? Is my arm in the way? Go ahead and throw some WD-40 on those splines. All right, now there is inner splines and outer splines. So before you fully take that off, if you're going to use the same ones, you can make a scribe or use an angle finder. Find your angle relative to your car jacked up so you know where they go back on if you're just replacing bushings and stuff. We're not doing that, but for giggles, go ahead and see where we're at right now, which is 19 degrees. And we'll need to go a little less than that for our heavier spring plates. So now she'll just pop right on out of there. Just like so. And we'll slide that off right there, and that's it. And if you notice, it actually says R for right with a rotation, usually stamped also with the size, and that just says 10. Huh, that's weird. All right, to the bench. All right, so the stock ones are about 21 millimeters. These are 24. These go up to 30. Problem is, the heavier you go up, the thicker you go up, stiffer your ride is, and I still want a decent ride. So we've got our right one there, says 24 on it. So we know we're using the same correct one. I also want to make sure they're the same length. Now, depending if you have an early car, mid, later, depending, there's 3 different sizes, 2 or 3 different sizes of bars, so make sure you get the correct length ones for your application. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to take a little bit of grease, put those on the splines. This ensures they don't rust in place. You don't need much, just a real thin coat. And whatever you do, don't nick the coating, because then it exposes the metal and your bars will rust. And that's not good. So same thing on this side. Thin film of grease just to keep everything lubricated in there, keep them from rusting in. There's nothing worse than trying to get your stinking bars out and they're frozen in place. So there we go. Got a real thin coat of grease on them all the way around. We are good to go. All right, slam this one in there. Now that they're greased, we'll go ahead and put our one end in. The end that has the R on it in the writing, you want that out. Just verify too that the arrow's pointing in the right direction. And we'll go ahead and give her a test, see where we're at. We're at 19, we're at 13 now. I'm thinking I want a little bit more than that. So, just combination of outside and inside movements. See, that's too much. Now we're at 21. So we'll slide the whole thing out and move just an inner spline, because they're both splined. They're still about 13. Okay, that much. Yeah. And right now this is just a guessing game. I'm trying to figure out where I need to be. I'm not sure exactly just yet. That's 13 and a half. We'll try that. The reason we want to make sure we get an angle is so both sides are the same, so your car doesn't sit all conky-wampus at an angle. Go ahead and put our spring plate tool on now. A little silicone on that made a huge difference. Just need to get this high enough to get over that bottom stop. And I usually take a little hammer. All right, now that we got that in place, we're gonna put our cover on, get our bolts together. And I like to use an owl. Okay, maybe it's not an owl, just to help line things up. You may need to take a little pressure off of your spring plate. Kind of relax it some. Whatever you do, don't cross thread it. You'll be sorry. All right, again, use the all and kind of help locate your bolts. Get them all started by hand, run them in. Then you go ahead and remove the tool that hooks up here. Again, really nice, much safer than trying to use a floor jack, you know what I mean, and a board. It's sketchy. This thing's under a lot of pressure. It can fling out, hit you, kill you, hurt you, injure you, I don't know. It's not safe. So now we got that back in place, this in place, and again, do not cross thread these. You're probably gonna have to take them back out and make more adjustments to your spring plates to get things to the right height that you want. So now we need to go ahead and just bolt this up. I'm gonna leave the shocks off for now until we verify everything's the way we want it. Then we go knock out the other side. All right, this side's all together. I did not bother with the bump stop because it's just one simple bolt to take out right there and add it on, and I didn't bother with the shock just yet because we're gonna have to take this thing for a drive with the wheels back on it, make sure it's the level we want. So now, let's go ahead and get jumping on this side and get this side done. So basically what you're doing is there's different splines on the inner and different splines on the outer. So you're just kind of rotating until you find the right combination so your angles match on both sides. It's really about it. Just take some time sometimes to make sure you make it right. Get it right now because less headache later when the car sits all connie-wampus. Alright, well, swing axle life. Backed it out and brought it back in. Tires are pretty straight. They're definitely pretty straight. So I want to think that we'll leave them there for now, let them settle in, and we'll go from there. Now, I do not remember this, but look here. This torsion bar looks great. No nicks, no nothing. This one's got pit rust all over it. That could have been my problem. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Well guys, that's it. Sun's coming out. It's time to go in the house. It's getting hot and humid because it's been raining most of the day. But there we go. I went ahead and left the air shocks in the back for right now. Just kind of make sure that if things sag a little bit, I don't have time to re-index them because, you know, those bars can break in a little bit, right? So I left them on the back for now. Later down the road, we'll go ahead and ixnay them, but the rear does sit higher now, so I ended up having to put a little preload on the front coil shocks that I did not want to run in the beginning, but put them on anyway. So now I'm 2 notches up on that just to get the car to sit pretty level. But I say it looks good. I like it. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks for sticking around for the video. And honestly, like I said, if you have questions, reach out. There's a lot of us good YouTubers out here that have been doing this for a little while, and we're not afraid to help others, right? We want to see you succeed. That's kind of the whole purpose behind my videos. You get to see what I'm doing, but at the same time, maybe it's going to help you keep your project on the road, right? All right, till the next time, be kind to one another and be good.